So I want to talk to you guys today a little bit about balance because you hear people talking about this on the internet all the time. And I think that there's also all this noise around, you know, juicing and this diet and that workout program and all of these things coming your way. It can be really hard to start to decipher what balance means for you because we're watching all of these other people and we're looking at their lives, and it's really hard to take on all of these different approaches and apply them to yourself. And so what I will tell you is that I'm somebody who is very grateful for going through the years that I did with dieting and over exercising, because I was on one end of the spectrum with all of that. It was like I had to follow these really rigid rules and eat this number of calories a day and do this many hours of workouts a day. And what that taught me about myself is that didn't work for me. Being super rigid doesn't work because it disconnects you from enjoying your life in a full place of presence where you can actually be social and do things that also bring your life and your health like a real amount of joy, fulfillment, and abundance. And so I think that all of those years of dieting and restriction and over exercising really taught me is how I want to define health for myself. And I think that the whole point of me making this video is that nobody else can define health for you. You have to start to assess what that feels like and what feels good in your life, recognizing that there are so many things that make up health, right? It's not just your diet and your exercise. It's also about having a social life and social connections and getting together with people and gathering with people and using your community to allow your mental health to feel good. It's about creativity. It's about a spiritual and mindfulness connection with yourself, your higher self, and a higher power, whatever it is that you believe in. There are so many different facets of things that go into your health. And so when we really try to put health into a box and make it just about exercise and food, we end up getting really rigid and rule-based for the most part, and then we can start to, again, get on that one end of the spectrum. And what starts to happen is when you are like that all of the time, you don't get to enjoy your social life. You don't get to have a connection with your higher self because you're not listening to your body's internal cues. And so then what happens is, living on that end of the spectrum, you start to have these moments where it's all or nothing. It's like, okay, well now for this one moment in time, I'm going to let myself have a cheat day. And you go crazy and you go nuts. And it's like, it shouldn't be like that. It's like, now I can go out to a restaurant, have a few French fries, or I can go and skip a workout for a day if I'm on a vacation with my family and my kids. And then I'm not worried about it. I come right back to the things that make me feel good the next day. And so I want to guide you through defining health for yourself, because that's how I like to look at it. I like to look at it as almost like a spectrum where there's all and there's nothing, and then there's that balance piece and that place kind of that lives in between. So for me, what I have defined health as now at this stage in my life is showing up for myself and for the people who I love with full presence, with a good amount of energy, and feeling lots of joy. And so when I think about different things that I want to ask myself, if I want to incorporate them as a part of my health and wellness routine, I ask myself, does adding this thing in help to align me with that definition of health? Energy, presence, and joy. And so I'll give you a few examples. So for me, for example, if I am somebody who is not social for weeks on end and I'm staying home in my house, like we all had to during COVID, right? If I am forced to do that, that doesn't make me feel good. That makes me feel depressed, isolated, lonely. I feel more anxious. So that's one end of the spectrum, right? But if I'm going out every single night and I'm super social and I don't have time to recharge my batteries and refuel and come back to filling my own cup, I'm also super anxious, burnt out, exhausted, not feeling my best. So it comes back to that center point, that balance point where maybe 2 nights a week is enough for me in terms of a social life. Same thing if I'm thinking about vegetables, right? How much vegetables is going to help me to show up with more energy, being present, and being joyful in my life? If I have no vegetables at all, I'm going to feel really weighed down, kind of bloated, low energy, not great at all. If I have too many vegetables and I'm only eating salads and I'm not having any source of protein or any healthy fats, I'm just eating tons of vegetables, I'm going to feel really like I can't focus, like my blood sugar is not regulated, like I'm kind of like brain foggy and flighty, and like my energy is like kind of like a doodle, like it's all over the place. And so again, coming back to that, okay, that nice balanced place. I want to have vegetables with every meal, but it has to have other things incorporated onto my plate. Coming back to this idea of like even movement, right? If I am moving my body 2+ hours a day like I used to when I was in that all or nothing space, I'm exhausted, burnout, and I don't even feel like moving. It feels like a form of punishment. I have resentment towards it. If I'm not moving my body at all, I feel like I'm more anxious. I feel super sluggish. I feel like I can't think straight. And so for me, that 20 minutes of Pilates and yoga or going to an F45 class with Chad a couple times a week is like that perfect sweet spot for me. And all of those little sweet spots right in the middle align with my definition of health: more presence, more energy, more joy. Those things are adding to my life. They are making me feel better. They are not making me feel, there are so many people where you see like they have these wellness habits that they're incorporating and it just feels like an addition to a to-do list that's already overwhelming. That's not wellness. Wellness is supposed to make you feel better. It's supposed to make you feel good in your body and your life, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. And so I think it's really important for each of you who are watching this video to think about, what is your definition of health? How does that help you show up in your life? Is it, do you want more energy? Do you want more presence? Do you want to feel more peace, more grounded? Like, it's going to be different for all of us in different seasons of life. And then you ask yourself, you go down the list with your social life, with your food, with your movement, with your relationships, with your travel, with your spiritual connections. Are those things all in alignment with that definition that you've created of what health sounds like to you, of what those words of health, of wellness mean to you? And so I hope that this was really helpful in terms of allowing you to get more clear, because the more that you are able to trust yourself and to listen to your own body, because what diet works for me, what exercise works for me is not necessarily going to be what works for you. And I think that that's where a big breakdown in the system is right now, where so many of us are so confused, we're so anxious, we're so overwhelmed, and then we end up with symptoms of things like burnout because we're trying to do too much. We can simplify it by asking ourselves those simple questions of, what does health mean to me? And is this thing aligned with my definition? Does it feel good? Or does it feel like too much? Or does it feel like too little? If you do that, you're going to start to build more trust within your body, because you're understanding that piece of self-connection and what actually works for you, and you are continuing to honor that for yourself versus trying to do what somebody else is telling you. Like, I know taking colostrum is not something that aligns with my definition of health. Like, there's no research on it. I don't have any data or science behind that working. I don't like the way that anything with dairy makes me feel, and so that's not something that I'm going to add in. But there's tons of advertisements coming my way, bombarding me every single day. Buy this colostrum, take this colostrum, it's going to boost your metabolic health, it's going to help your immune system. But I know it's not in alignment with me. It's not in alignment with my definition of health, so I don't have to buy into that. I don't have to buy into going and doing some crazy cardio workout, because I know that's not in alignment with what feels good to my body. So the more that you get clear on your own definition, the more that you start trying things out, testing things out, seeing how they feel in your body, and then noting that afterwards, the more that you can build that trust and confidence in yourself. So I hope that this video is helpful for you. If you liked it, please subscribe to our channel. Give this video a like, and I will see you next week. Leave a comment below for whatever topic it is, health and wellness wise, you want me to talk about, and we will create the next video according to what you guys want.